This video is the second part of our series on the philosophical meaning of values. In our first video, we focused on the question, what are values? Exploring the foundations of philosophical values and their importance in human life. If you haven't watched the first part of this series, I recommend watching it before continuing with this video. This will allow you to follow today's topic with a deeper understanding. Now let's take a closer look at the thoughts on values throughout the historical flow of philosophy, from ancient Greece to the modern era. The concept of value in ancient Greece. Socrates argued that moral values are linked to an individual's inner life and virtue. According to Socrates, virtue is based on knowledge. When a person knows what is good, they will do good. The knowledge of right and wrong is essential for the soul to live a better life. Plato approached values from an idealistic perspective. According to Plato, true values and the concept of good are not found in the physical world, but in the world of ideas. Goodness is absolute and universal. In the physical world, humans only try to approach this universal good. In his work, The Republic, Plato argues that for a society to be governed justly, leaders must know what is good. Aristotle defined moral values within the framework of virtue ethics. According to Aristotle, the highest value is eudaimonia, meaning happiness or a good life, and this can only be achieved by living a virtuous life. Virtue is not gained through extremes, but through moderate and balanced behavior. Aristotle also emphasizes that every action is directed towards a specific purpose, and this purpose is to realize the good within human nature. The concept of value in the Middle Ages. Augustine, who laid the foundation of Christian philosophy, links values to God. According to him, the highest good is God, and humans can only find the right values by turning to God. Values in worldly life are temporary. Eternal values are related to the spiritual. Thomas Aquinas, combining Aristotle's understanding of virtue with Christian theology, argues that values are directly linked to God's will. The source of moral values are natural laws, and these laws can be known through reason. Humans can distinguish between right and wrong by using their reason. The concept of value in the Renaissance and early modern period. Montaigne drew attention to the cultural relativity of moral values. According to him, different societies have different moral norms, and these norms are not based on a universal concept of good or right. Montaigne emphasized the importance of individual freedom and personal experiences, approaching universal truths with skepticism. Thomas Hobbes argued that values stem from human nature and the instinct for survival. According to him, humans are inherently selfish beings and strive to maximize their own interests. Moral values and laws arise from agreements created to maintain order in society. According to Locke, values are derived from the natural rights of human beings. Humans are born free, equal, and independent. The source of moral values are the rights to life, liberty, and property that individuals possess. Locke argues that the protection of these values is the main purpose of society. The concept of value in the Enlightenment. Immanuel Kant argued that moral values can be known through reason. According to him, the highest value is based on duty ethics, also known as deontology. An action is morally valuable only if it is done in accordance with a universal law. Kant's categorical imperative principle states that humans must always act according to a moral law that respects the rights of others and has universal validity. Jean-Jacques Rousseau argues that the corruption of society corrupts the natural goodness of the individual. Humans are inherently good, but societal pressures and artificial values corrupt this goodness. Rousseau emphasizes the need for a life in harmony with nature and the restructuring of society. David Hume argued that moral values stem from emotions. According to him, values are formed not by rational thought, but by people's emotional responses. Good or evil depends on what people feel, and is therefore not universal. The concept of value in the modern period. Friedrich Nietzsche was a philosopher who questioned and criticized traditional moral values. According to him, the moral values of Western culture are based on slave morality, and these values prevent humans from realizing their true potential. Nietzsche argues that humans need to create new values for themselves and defines the individual who represents these new values with the concept of the Übermensch. John Stuart Mill advocated for the ethical theory called utilitarianism. According to him, the highest value is the principle of greatest happiness. An action is morally valuable if it brings the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people. Mill also places individual freedom and personal happiness at the center of moral values. Existentialism argues that individuals must create their values in line with their own existence. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir argued that humans do not have a predetermined nature and must create the meaning of their lives themselves. The concept of value in contemporary philosophy. Postmodern thought argues that values are not absolute or universal, but are shaped by individual and social contexts. Philosophers such as Michel Foucault and Jacques Derrida have emphasized the role of power relations in the formation of values and criticized traditional understandings of morality. From ancient Greece to the modern era, the concept of value has been one of the fundamental topics of discussion in philosophy. While there were universal and idealized values in antiquity, the individuality and relativity of values have come to the fore in modern and contemporary philosophy. In every period, different philosophers have engaged in deep discussions about the source and function of values, and these discussions have made significant contributions to contemporary thought.